Hi children, today we are going to discuss about the remaining two applications of Gauss law. So the third application, yesterday we have gone through two applications. First one is electric field due to a point charge, and the second one is electric field due to a long straight wire which was charged, uniformly charged. And the third application is electric field due to an infinite plane charge sheet. This is infinite plane charge sheet. So for that purpose, I am going to take a charge sheet like this. It was charged on either side. So totally it was charged. So now here, because of this, we want to find the electric field. So for that purpose, I am going to take a point P. At point P, I want to determine the electric field intensity. So here, the first step is I have to assume a Gaussian surface. In the Gaussian surface, P should be a point. So here, I am going to take a cylindrical Gaussian surface which is passing through this metal sheet. So here, in this case, if you are going to observe the surfaces of this cylinder, Gaussian cylinder, let us take this surface is going to be ds and this surface is also going to be ds. Why? Because these two surfaces are same and that surface area vector will be outward. So now here this is ds bar, and here also you can say that this is ds bar, which are being outside of both the faces. And now while coming to the electric field direction, because of this charge, so the charge is being giving flux which will be perpendicular to the sheet and it will come out. So thereby the flux will come out like this, and the direction of electric field will be in the direction of electrical flux. So now here the direction of the electric flux will be in this direction, and as well as the electric field direction will be also same. So here ds bar and as well as e bar are going to be parallel. So theta will be equals to, here theta will be equals to 0 degrees. Here ds bar and as well as e bar will be parallel, so thereby the angle between these two will be equals to 0 degrees. And here also, because of other side of the sheet, we can expect the flux which is coming out, and the flux is also, that flux is also normal to the sheet, and that will also come perpendicular to the sheet here, and the direction of the flux will be again like this, and which will be parallel to ds bar. So here e bar is going to be again parallel to ds bar, and here also theta will be equals to 0 degrees. Whereas if you are going to see the sideways surface, this is sideways surface of this cylinder. So while you are going to take that particular surface here, this is the area vector and this is the surface area. If you are going to consider, the area vector will be perpendicular to the surface area what we have considered, and e bar will be in this direction. So then ds bar and as well as e bar will be perpendicular to each other. So the angle between these two is 90 degrees. So then we can able to calculate the net flux which is coming out of this sideways surface of the cylinder later. So let us calculate the total flux that is emerging from this particular charge sheet with the help of Gauss law. So we know that from Gauss law, phi e must be equals to integral over a closed surface E ds must be equals to Q by epsilon naught. So what about Q here? I am going to take let the total charge is Q and the surface charge density is sigma. Surface charge density is sigma. What is surface charge density? Already in the previous classes we have defined surface charge density sigma as Q by A. If it is Q by A, Q must be equals to sigma into A. That implies Q must be equals to sigma into A. Here sigma into A, we have to replace here with Q. So let us go with the substitution that Q is equals to sigma A. We can replace this Q with sigma A. So then we can write as E is constant, we can take it out. E into integral ds must be equals to, in place of Q, I am going to write it as sigma A by epsilon naught. So we have to find the integral ds value. Integral ds value means here what will be the surface that is giving the electric flux. So here, as the sheet is being charged up on the both the faces, it was charged up on the two faces. Both these two faces are going to liberate, or they are going to give the electric flux on either side. So the total electric flux is coming out of from the two surfaces, and the two surfaces are going to carry here what we call something like surface area. One of the one side is going to be A and the other side is also going to be A. With the two surfaces, we are going to take the total surface area as 2A. So E into 2A, integral ds value will be equals to, what is that? Integral ds value must be equals to 2A here. 2A, which is equals to sigma A by epsilon naught. So this is important. Here integral ds value must be equals to 2A. Why? Because here the two surfaces are being responsible in giving the electric flux on the two faces with the help of the two faces here. So that's why E into 2A gives rise to sigma A by epsilon naught. E equals to sigma A by epsilon naught. Sigma A by epsilon naught. And this 2A will come here, so this 2A and A gets cancelled. This is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So therefore we can write as E is equals to, how much here? E equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So here this is the formula for electric field due to an infinite planar charge sheet. And here you can able to observe that electric field due to this plane sheet is not going to depend upon the distance of point, whatever be the point we are going to choose on either side. Simply it is going to depend upon the surface charge density, that's it. Okay, so this is the important result. Key application is electric field due to uniformly charged spherical shell. Okay, so this is uniformly charged spherical shell. Shell means there will be space inside this what you call sphere, and this was charged uniformly with charge Q like this, and the radius of this shell is going to be R. So now I want to determine the electric field due to this shell, and now the electric field we can able to find at different points. So we are going to have three cases here. So the point may be outside the shell, or the point may be on the shell, or the point may be inside the shell. So we can expect three cases here to find out the electric field due to this uniformly charged spherical shell. Okay, so now in this case let us go with the first case here, case 1. case 1, that is electric field at a point outside the cell. So the point P should be outside the shell. Electric field at a point outside the shell. So here the point we have to locate outside the shell, that is nothing but point P. Let us take point P here, which is at a distance. Let us take this point, the center is O, which is at a distance R. This is R, and we can write it as R bar also, the position vector of point P with respect to O. At point P, I want to determine the electric field. So for that purpose, I am going to draw one Gaussian surface. That Gaussian surface should be spherical in shape. Why? Because here this is the shell which is being a sphere, and the Gaussian surface is also being symmetrical with the sphere. So then the sphere will be, the Gaussian surface will be also in spherical shape. So now I am going to assume one sphere here. So with the help of this, okay, let me draw. Okay, so this is the Gaussian surface, spherical surface here, and this Gaussian surface, this is a Gaussian surface, and with radius smaller. And now with the help of this surface only, we can able to determine the electric field. Electric field at a point outside the shell. P is a point which is outside the shell. So at point P, I am going to take a small surface area, that is nothing but ds. This small surface area is going to have a vector, that is ds bar, which will be outward like this. This is ds bar. And similarly, the electric flux which is coming out of from this small surface area will be perpendicular to the surface, and that will also come out like this. So this is E bar. E bar and as well as ds bar will be parallel to each other. So then here theta will be equals to how much here? 0 degrees. So you have to make it, remember, we are making use of this angle. So finally we have to find the electric field at point P due to this shell with the help of Gauss law. So what is Gauss law? How we are going to write this? Let us see. Integral over a closed surface E bar dot ds bar. So what it is? This is Gauss law. So from Gauss law, integral over a closed surface E into ds, or E bar dot ds bar must be equals to q by epsilon naught. So here E bar dot ds bar will be integral E ds cos theta, which will be equals to q by epsilon naught. If you are going to substitute the angle between E and ds as cos 0 degrees, cos 0 is 1. So here, since theta equals to 0, we can write theta equals to 0 degrees. So here we can write integral E ds must be equals to q by epsilon naught. And here E is constant, you can take it out. E into integral ds must be equals to q by epsilon naught. We have to go with this integral ds. Integral ds means this is the small surface area. Okay. So if you want to denote the total surface of area of the Gaussian sphere, the total surface area of Gaussian sphere will be total surface area will be how much here? 4 pi small r square. Why? Because this is a sphere. The surface area of the sphere will be 4 pi r square. So in place of ds, that is surface area of Gaussian sphere, will be 4 pi r square. So then this can be written as, I will write here, that implies E into 4 pi r square must be equals to q by epsilon naught, and here E must be equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. So this is the formula, final formula. You have to go with this. Are you able to understand this one or not? Why? Because 4 pi r square, if it come down, so 4 pi epsilon naught, and this is q by r square. So here E must be equals to 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. I will write it once again. This is E must be equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. So this is the formula. Okay. Note it down as the electric field at a point outside the shell. Okay, the next case is electric field at a point on the shell. Now the point P is on the shell here, on the shell. So this is the point P, and we have to determine electric field at point P due to the total shell here. Here you can able to observe that both small r and as well as capital R are going to be equal. Initially, in the first case, r is going to be, small r is going to be little bit big, because we are going to take the point P outside the shell here. So now we are going to take the same point on the shell. So thereby small r and capital R are going to be same. So here small r is equals to capital R. First thing you have to write. And now the electric field intensity at point P or outside point P can be determined with the same equation here, as electric field will be, already we have derived that E is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by small r square. R is going to vary here. So initially it is big, and let us, as the point is coming towards the shell and it is being now on the shell, so small r is equals to capital R here. So in place of small r, I can able to replace the small r with capital R. So then E must be equals to how much here? That implies E must be equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by capital R square. Why? Because here small r is equals to capital R. So I am going to write it properly. Now the electric field, the variation of electric field with distance r is given by E is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r square. So this is the first equation, and here we are going to take how much? Small r is equals to capital R. Why? Because now the point is on the shell. So therefore, if you are going to replace small r with capital R, then E becomes 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by capital R square. This is very easy result here. We can able to write. Okay. Simply we are going to replace small r with capital R. That's it. That is the second case. Now the case 3 is electric field at a point inside the shell. Electric field at a point inside the shell. Now the point P will be inside the shell. Let me take that point P here. This is point P, which is being inside the shell. And now the distance from O to P is again the small r here. So now I want to find out electric field at point P, which is inside. So for that purpose, again I am going to draw one Gaussian surface like this. So which will be spherical in shape like this. So with the help of this Gaussian surface only, I want to determine the electric field at point P. Look at this here carefully. In this Gaussian surface, is there any charge? Is there any charge that is being enclosed in this particular Gaussian surface? This is the Gaussian surface. So in this Gaussian surface, there is no charge at all. So now this is Gaussian surface. As there is no charge at all, how it can able to establish or how it can able to give electric field at point P? So if within the surface, if there is any charge, let us suppose if there is a charge here around this, we can assume a Gaussian surface, so thereby the electric flux will come out. So from this, okay, so then we can expect the electric field at a point anywhere here. But in this case, there is no charge at all. The charge is being residing outside the surface, Gaussian surface here. But there is no charge here. Q is equals to 0 inside this Gaussian surface. So now, as there is no charge, from Gauss law, we can write integral again from Gauss law, integral over a closed surface E bar dot ds bar is equals to Q by epsilon naught. But within the Gaussian surface, there is no charge. Hence, thereby Q is equals to 0. Therefore, integral E bar dot ds bar is equals to 0. That implies E is equals to 0. So now, the electric field due to electric field at a point inside the shell will be equals to 0. Always inside the shell, electric field will be equals to 0. This is very simple result. As there is no charge inside the shell, electric field will be 0. Okay, very easy result, no doubt. So with these three results, we can able to draw the graph. So now the results are going to be E out, that means outside the shell here. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, this is the case 1. 1 by 4 pi epsilon Q by r square, and on the shell it will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by capital R square, and here inside the shell it will be 0. So we have to draw the graph here. So if you want to draw the graph, look at this. The electric field intensity is taken on y-axis. So this is the electric field intensity E bar, and now this is the distance. You can write that this is distance from point O, that is from the center. So now this is the distance. Let us take, this is exactly capital R, this is the radius of the shell, and after that R is going to vary from 0 to like this. So first of all, at R, let us take at R exactly, if you are going to take that is going to be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square, which is going to be the maximum value. And again, if this R increases, the denominator increases. As the denominator increases, C value also decreases here. So then, and it is E is directly proportional to 1 by R square. You can write like that. So then we are going to have maximum value at R. So this is the maximum value at R here. So this value will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by capital R square, because this is the value at R. And after that, if R increases like this, so then it is reducing like this, and it is reducing. Why it is reducing? Here, let us take this is the maximum value at and after it is reducing by E is directly proportional to 1 by R square, and below this, exactly below this R, E will be equals to 0. This is out, outside, and this will be exactly on, and below this will be inside here. So then inside it will be 0, it will suddenly it will drop down to 0 like this. So inside totally electric field E will be equals to 0, and after that E will be equals to Q by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square, and after that it is getting decreases with R increases now. As R increases, electric field intensity will be decreases. So this graph is very important. You can draw this on our it was asked. Okay. Let us discuss a problem which is important in both point of view. A dipole of dipole moment 4 into 10 to the power of minus 9 coulomb meter is placed in a uniform electric field of 5 into 10 to the power of 4 Newton Coulomb, making an angle 30 degrees with the field. Find the torque acting on the dipole. Very simple problem here. So now in this case you have to write dipole moment. So dipole moment P is equals to how much here? P bar will be 4 into 10 to the power of minus 9. This is dipole moment. Dipole moment. And next one is electric field intensity. Electric field will be E bar equals to 5 into 10 to the power of 4 Newton per coulomb, and the angle between P bar and E bar will be how much here? 4 into this will be how much here? P bar and E bar is theta equals to 30 degrees. So then you have to find torque. So torque will be torque acting on dipole is given by tau bar equals to P sin theta. This can be written as tau bar is equals to P bar cross E bar, which is further written in terms of P sin theta. So P sin theta means already we know this P means 4 into 10 to the power of minus 9, and this will be 5 into 10 to the power of 4, and sine, what is the angle between these two? 30 degrees. Sine 30 is 1 by 2. That we are going to substitute that. So this is 4 into 5, this is 20. 20 10 to the power of minus 9 and plus 4 minus 5. So this is 4 into 4 5s are 20 into 10 to the power of minus 5 and multiplied by 1 by 2. Why? Because sign. So again this goes by 10, and the value will be, the final value will be how much here? 10 into 10 to the power of 5. 10 into 10 to the power of 5 is nothing but here 10 to the power of minus 4. 10 to the power of minus 4. Okay, Newton meter. Why? Because Newton meter, Coulomb and Coulomb gets cancelled, and we get Newton meter. This is the problem. So this is very simple example. So this is a 4-mark question in your IP. Make it note.